Mame fa na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Nanama aja according sembia tuja o chese President elect John Dramani Mahama o meteki 10 years ansana crisis agana wum no wa year free. Na osa to questions bi and I say osa to questions bi edema owusu bempa and I say Ghana asofofo anyame abi omani na o chese yeto aba yi former president Nana Addo Akufo-Addo amana babaye president of Ghana no nyame anya njiro mo se oba be se Ghana na kwan ya ode Ghana afaso ne de ne wosenka asofofo a nyame abi omani no omutumi hye ho kom se abato no emayento ema Nana Addo Akufo-Addo nenso sofo bia antumi amie na no anka ho asem ensema hodo bi kawe ho na Nana ama ajakon ade atudwa ha PENDREAM TV. So now first time I message so be me subscribe button no click the notification icon no comment section so now do adwin tre haba like na share dwumadi no ma afoforo ensa enkabi kame ho enti ensema Nana ama ajakon de atudwa
2018 John Dramani Mahama 2019 John Dramani Mahama 2020 John Dramani Mahama. After 2020 election there, ya bo John Mahama din, ni abo COVID din, ni abo Russia Ukraine war, wasi wono there. Wa beto wo haw. De anu wo position no kra na no wo hunu no. Se de obu besi ase ada aponchine ni bewu. E na wo hu ne tenten no. Wo betina bandwa no so no a wo hunu. Account confess, wo hunu bibia no a omu fra se wo mo keka ne ma bom no. Wo hunu se se no otu opposition no. Enema no wo hunu na ye ni na ye nketua na ye ano na ye hwani but wonu ankasa hunu se Ghana ye wo crisis mu wo se Ghana wo crisis mu but that notwithstanding no o megina wonu onko meka nkire Ghana for say e be take ye 10 years ansa na crisis ne wo mu yetimi afrim. What a leader, what a man. Was all my boy blame games Bia said 8 solid years. What back to sinking fund $200 million them. What went in go for ya bro. Stabilization fund. Hey. Hey. Hey, rade. Aso for mu wo ha. Ya mo share nkom se na Nadu be di president. Last time na me kan say na musi nyankopon yi ade bone kira wotwam. Mo asofo yo. Owusu bempa no masofo a mo na mo hye nkoma kase ma na Akufo-Addo so obedi president. Mo asofo yi in the spiritual realm. E na mo ka kira mansa ni wiase sai. Se nyankopon yi bibia kira de bone bia kira wotwam. In the spiritual realm ti nyankopon hunu se oyi kira mo no. Wo hunu se man no. Mine why a destroyer. In a spiritual realm no money to table no. Owusu bemba. Enti mo ahunu se na Akufo-Addo afede e no owusu bempa no atimi gira ho na so dem kasa he na Akufo-Addo ye wicked, wo ye crook, wo ye wicked ankasa. Wo ye owusu bempa no a in a spiritual realm Nyankopon yi chiro Nyankopon emie wo mani amoma ahunu da. Se man no wo ye kremo ankasa, criminal mu criminal. And the State of the Nation's address ano eni said the President Mahama ebu o man ho akonta ne wa ba beto ne kire se Ghana ye ngina yie but ose obe fix no na ase ama manya gidie bia me dia betena ha no ma me ba kase me rest studio ha nyina na me sa because before 2024 general election no economic indicators wa be enim di ewosikasam tutu yemu professor Somugu Legon professor Somugu Hehe professor Steve Hanke broni wo share report an omode ba no mo ka chese e be take years 30 years 3 decades e be take Ghana 30 years and sana oman no ba bia President Akufo-Addo Dr. Bawumia do oman no kokko share no yetimi a recover from that crisis. Economic indicators they no mo kan no say enye 1 year enye 5 years enye 10 years enye 15 years enye 20 years e be take here 3 decades ye nyina ya grant interviews ye tie bi economist for animdi for no Professor Lord Mensa no mo ka ho woni BOT no mu kasa and then others na ekasa dia no mu de banyina no mu akonta wo mu bu o man no ho ne say e betake ye so President Mahama for over 4 years etines sene President Mahama gina ne na so ka kire Ghana for say on share the next 3 decades because of 4 years obe fix crisis a Ghana for ewo mu no wa beto eka amena donko na sa amena no nya national cathedral de ni bio wa beto amena donko eka amena wa beto wo manye agija o manye mu ni panyi na si apini o manye mu ni pampempem enuma aguo o manye mu ni pampempem esan economic crisis, bad management, corruption ye lutu ntino bebre sebe atoba ha ayare bebre sebe Ghana ha bebre ayare fo gudem bebre ayare fo egudem after 2017-2018 banking cleanup e course wa e Ghana ha say no men's gold guo no mu no bebre sebe ayare fo e Ghana ha say na se yenya obi a o ka kire o man Ghana say enya fe na me ba beka ena akufu Addo Bawumia this ena akufu Addo Bawumia that ena akufu so oni saa mele no Ghana fo ni time nemum de oba be yen say crisis ohia aho kire ekom enumaguo ketesia de mrantia wogina wona so wa hoɔden sisi kwabrafo e waso wo sorry kodi pa ya wo mu ni adwuma ye no President Mahama say sa how no ba be fix it natural say arehemu wo ho eni daso wo ho se be ye ni daso ebi wo ho se be ye se de nyina ye di kan say President Mahama kona wo kono omani bobire bia se de Ghana tie bia no won kan kire ye unsu oda labor unions for na say trade union congress any other labor organizations or da wo mu nyina ase se omo ti ase through his engagement employment and labor minister or Timubi stakeholders engagement of course what Timubi no what chira wo say this is the state of Yankasa our beloved country say no minor first tie say ka se be ma mu 15 na enye yie even 10% no kwa bro so 1% enye yie and can we deserve 15%, 20%, 30%, but enye ye. Na omo ti na siye. Ed so mu 10%. Ti woda o mase. Zenka hoden wo ha. Said year 2017, wonu ni siesie na chi eja sika wo futuo mu no. Woja 120 billion. Your predecessor je na ka ho 120 billion. Na wo Jessica wo futuo mu no senka ahoden ni sa ni bi kade wono de na chi ja 2017 sa bi no beto 2025 a enka Ghana adwumayefo mu deserve 30% anko de bema mo but that's not the case wono beto ka over 700 billion Ghana cedis hey enka banse sa mangenyo ankanyo senka banse sa ma mun share mi page ni mame so de na my fresh pa colors no so colors no so ani da ho pa CTV so ani da ho pa na CTV de ani so de e da ho papa ka banse sa ma enkanye senka yanse sa he abusuafu yi pa free ya so pa nkwa principalities fu yi si yanse sa wo mo pa mo man ko pa dia enka Bawumia be wie 4 years nanka Ghana de abose ye to nanka Ghana ne de ka Ghana de nanka sei nanka Ghana pa de nya Ghana bi hwe energy sector makana wa ha se we president Akufo-Addo nanka se si nchen ya enipa mienu mu di Ghana bro di Ghana nya eye na po Dr. Metopoku Prempe ene Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia energy sector eka yegu energy sector eka na minority for mashe black akogu parliament eye dede dumso omo yesa dede no they know omu nim or how one dear Gugana for so. I've had no markings. A prick, or send ye yaman 2 hours, not and in some good person can be our king. I am black, aquasi 1 year, and a doom so nano. Omunim say, send leader to say President Mahama. And by now, Ghana doom so crisis and key woman. And ye been 3 days, 4 days, near doom light 5 hours. Yankupo mu Ghana mabo. Kwa me yan start ne yanko yan mo President Mahama yini na yan toto asonko. Mo ma me se waka Ghana ka. Ya start ye firi ho. E ka o man ne edie na manya bre na ma kire mu. President Mahama ya campaign o committee those days no labor unions ni trade union congress no catch am say ayeba. Mo ma yen honeymoon days. Any ade no na nkrofo kan na no wa madwuma ye ena nipa no kwa wo pe president no munti asem a woka ye bedi hanimu a day President Mahama swearing in ade chi ya pe ena independent power producers onu amu hia ye won office ha ne office here wa ya hayi cantonment hayi senso won so ya la bonu ne office here wa hayi da President Mahama ni swearing in adeachi ya pe anopa ko na wo ye meetings wa ha na chief of staff honorable Julius Dabramu ye engagement meetings wa ha John Jina po ni ye mundi ba na start ye engagement e wa ha meetings no wo tu kwa Nigeria ba na mu fi se Nigeria na no wo ko no e ka wako ye business partners Ghana but in all no oso to opposition ohun so wo minor say ohun so Ghana asay Ghana wo crisis Ghana mu nipa ebre wo man mutimamfo ebrankasa a teacher for bre nurses are suffering, teachers are suffering, carpenters are suffering, students are suffering, hairdressers are suffering. Okay, yanko ohun wenyina en wo say empremprem buafo empremprem Ghana jefo enyi obiade waye bida ono John Dramani Mahama ene betimi aba abegye wo man no no wasiesie wo man no enti said ye di kan ka kire ye say Ghana be ye yie bi mu a e be take ye mfisia polepole aduasa 3 decades 30 years no President Mahama say 4 years yen schedule betimi aye
sustainable levels and ultimately eliminated. The financial sector continues to struggle despite the reportedly spending of 29.9 billion on the financial sector cleanup exercise up to date. Scant reserves were also left for debt servicing, despite implementing what may be considered the most severe and distressing sustainable levels and ultimately eliminated. The financial sector continues to struggle despite the reportedly spending of 29.9 billion on the financial sector cleanup exercise up to date. Scant reserves were also left for debt servicing, despite implementing what may be considered the most severe and distressing economic policy in the annals of the Fourth Republic, if not in the entirety of our nation's history. And I'm referring to the domestic debt exchange program. This is in stark contrast to our actions in 2017 before we left office, when we allocated $250 million to the sinking fund handed over to the incoming government to service debts, Ghana's debts. There have been claims that buffers were left for debt repayment, oncoming debt repayment this year. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me give you the statement of account for the debt service reserve account, which is also popularly referred to as the sinking fund. This fund shows a balance of only $64,000 in the dollar account. $64,000 in the dollar account. And 143 million Ghana cedis in the CD account. The repercussions of the accumulation of debt and economic mismanagement will require extensive work and sacrifice to repair. In the next 4 years, to put things in context for you, Mr. Speaker, in the next 4 years, our debt servicing will amount to 280 billion cedis. And this comprises of 150 billion for domestic debt and 130 billion in external debt servicing. Our catastrophic debt position has also severely impacted infrastructural projects that should have been completed. Currently, there are 55 stalled projects due to the default of debt and subsequent restructuring, with a total value of $2.95 billion not disbursed. The stalling of these projects is expected to result in a cost overrun of about 15 billion cedis. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding this gloomy background, I remain committed to lead sustainable levels and ultimately eliminate it. The financial sector continues to struggle despite the reportedly spending of $29.9 billion on the financial sector cleanup exercise up to date. Scant reserves were also left for debt servicing, despite implementing what may be considered the most severe.
President Mahama 2017 handing over 7th January. Ne handing over our year Edman and now Kufuado Dr. Bawumia. Ni abofu to be a friend say sinking fund. Na sinking fund no the Emma MPP abino. Sika na edem na eye $200 million. Sinking fund. Sika na edasa futuo mu no eye $200 million. President Mahama said na Kufuado edi eja no no. Eye $64,000. As of that to be said. $64,000 oh. Sika wa mo beto ya wasafu tuo mu no a na ye $200 million no. After 8 years na Kufuado Bawumia ban sika akamu ye $64,000. Cedis so a 143 million Ghana cedis. Sikano way. Looters akronfo aban. Omo fa sikano ko. Aside sinking fund no, omo bebe to Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. Ya na seed money $270 million na dem. Oh. Kodio to ya mutu. Stabilization Fund $277 million ya mutu ni nyina ekọ wa metuhwio wa enti mo kai a Ghana fo amutie mawie yi mi Facebook fo mo amuhwe mi wo CTV mo te se makasa ade wo ha se na Kufuado Bawumia ban emeka nchira Ghana fo because President Mahama for 8 years in opposition they were consistent. Say Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund omuja $270 million wom. And Sana Sinking Fund omuja $200 million with BOG. And Sana your friend is a stabilization fund so omuja $277 million. For 8 years they be no mo kan same way. 80 MPP are buying so akwa opposition ya. Omu gather that momentum no, courage no mo mra bonte me kan kire Ghana for say Sanfo to we ya President Mahama boto wono mo a wo kam ye nsani bomu asika na damu nyasem ketwa no omo kɔ ne sɛ na omu gyaye ɛho bi na President Mahama sɛ sinking fund a omu gya $200 million no omu gya 64,000 Ghana cedis, not even 100,000 Ghana cedis. Hey so Ghana afi enfie 94 years ya every 2025 ekopim 2028 ni 4 years no eka ya obetua debt e be service domestic ne external eye 280 billion Ghana cedis. Na matena no mo nso aka na bribia say yes call International Monetary Fund ye negotiations no DDEP debt exchange program ayeye no So 2022, 2023, 2024, MPP are buying Oman service debt be a standard debt. See, I say ya swat dollars, aquani ya creditors, ya kwa kutio mukanomo mchebida. Almost soon sakani yina dia good president Mahama so ya starting 8 year from this year 2025. 8 no. Wa mo nesa na do second term ne de 2021 no mo settle kakra no. Tua kakra no ekọ no. Omo ntua biem. But almost soon sakani yina dia good president Mahama ban so. Ya saka no 4 years ni a car obetua. Eye 280 billion Ghana cedis. Hey, me say, oh, we nunca can first rank or my mini, some crew feeling, call my mini, you almost 2 ajay. And I do not care the acquisition woman in Nanke, Romako General. Your level so come. Yes, because won't mean your mind population over 3 population rise and on 33 million. Now on say now on trans na wuni di me se be ya and president Mahama akogina ho aye ye ni abeka say we dey correct president former president Kufuado wanu mu nunu adidi ame ada aba na numa hwewiem adua wodwen o say bank na wo mu eguru no eka ya yes service etwamu 29 billion Ghana cedis say president Kufuado former president Kufuado ene Bawumia banks ehia 9 billion Ghana cedis. Near the babo Ghana for nyuma ho ban. Ama Ghana for aye adwuma. 9 billion say be investing 9 billion ewumu no. Ye gu no. Ama oman no e ka be to oman no so egusu aye tua. Eye 29.5 close to 30 billion Ghana cedis. Hey President Mahama, waka say we are. And I before no instruct one more. One quarter chenko for me. In some cake can say, Crana said, or more that's what it will move your credit, dimmy crana. Near your credit start here. Your book crash start here. Kwame your next one. A fayentia a cow better ye from 122 billion. Yentia President Mahama say a car not buying a barbeto. Cocoa sector a car wa barbeto ho. Yentie ni na and then Ghana ni bia so nim say Cocoa sector ne de omogunu omabomu kro no
Ghana Cocoa Board, the hope of cocoa farmers, is also highly indebted. Its balance sheet indicates a total debt of 32.5 billion Ghana cedis, of which 9.7 billion is due to be paid at the end of September 2025. Ghana Cocoa Board, the hope of cocoa farmers, is also highly indebted. Its balance sheet indicates a total debt of 32.5 billion Ghana cedis, of which 9.7 billion is due to be paid at the end of September 2025. In 2023-2024 crop season, Cocoa Board was unable to supply 333,767 metric tons of cocoa, which it had sold at $2,600 per ton. As a result, the then management of Cocoa Board rolled over these contracts into the 2024-2025 season. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, this implies that for every ton of cocoa delivered this year, in fulfillment of the rollover contracts, Cocoa Board and Ghanaian farmers are going to lose $4,000 in revenue. Mr. Speaker, as I address this Honorable House, Cocoa Board has supplied 210,000 tons out of the rolled over contract, resulting in a revenue loss of $840 million for both Cocoa Board and the Ghanaian farmer. Mr. Speaker, Cocoa Board and the Ghanaian farmer will lose another $495 million by the time the board finishes supplying the remaining rolled over contracts. Additionally, cocoa road commitments alone total 21.7 billion cedis, of which only 4.4 billion is included in the total debt of 32.5 billion. This debt has arisen mainly because of the decision in 2019 and 2020 to award road contracts. Ghana Cocoa Board, the hope of cocoa farmers, is also highly indebted. Its balance sheet indicates a total debt of 32.5 billion Ghana cedis, of which 9.7 billion is due to be paid at the end of September 2025. In 2023-2024 crop season,
because nyame ni 8 years ni pa no ye di ho aboro cocoa board amane na President Mahama elbo na wie isa no cocoa sector ya na ye the backbone of Ghana's economy. Cocoa akuafo edu cocoa season ya no omo kwa na wo mo ba President Mahama se eka ya eda ho no mo 32.3 billion Ghana cedis. Na sa eka we na eda ho no mo no afiya September ye e wo si etua 9 billion Ghana cedis. President Mahama ne handing over 2017 na cocoa season cocoa ye produce wa Ghana ha say no 960,000 metric tons. 2022-2023 cocoa season cocoa e wase ye tone ye de ko ye kwaji cocoa loan ne ye de bitua ye ho aka no ne ade no ye ntimi enya cocoa ni nyina metric tons do ye de ko no ye shortly be say 333,000 metric tons. Ena sa cocoa board papa no ho edu no bo ahin edu oni fifi buafo o man FM guy no a yese ene udu trasa kwa ne mansion to aso sa ene he 333,000 metric tons ho kan nyina no almost sum e de agu NDC aban eso e kan nyina no a President enti me shawa me ti se me sister e bisa me se na sika na President Mahama e buru so na debt se sika no wo kwafa na wai me sister for wa say na President Mahama gina ho no ma e na Ghana's debt e na cocoa debt e na ho debt a wo buru so sa no se sika no President Mahama kwa kwafa na wai wo say na President Mahama dan 1 penny baby antena for wa na kai say President Mahama dai wa na asoma no I don't want penny baby antena. Case na ehu o. Eye serious ankasa. Ye kan say ya. Me kai NDC wo position. Na se kwabena betena ha listo we betena ne ye betena ha se ni ye kan. Obi gina kire a office wo yi opese NDC ba power. Opese President Mahama sa ba power. Enti na ebia wani abere a wo kan sembi edigu aban ne so. But enne me pese me ka kire wo say another pre afenyo markings sa micro minority no a omugu ofia na no ma she black no sa report we information we na President Mahama e give you out no enye omo wanwo because omo ya we omo the president on sa omo to one mama ye di na omo nim na omo anka setiri mu no omo ni ewu omo ni mu egu ase because omo hu so omo ni Ghana ndi ni ye omo hu se omo ni Ghana ndi ni ye omo ni mu egu ase wo Ghana fo anim enti I'm not surprised say na obekwa to video bi wo social media na MPP communicator eti ebia station bi MPP station catch President Akufo-Addo ni ministers say omo de Ghana for catch up njoma me pagana fo achew kwa mama next video na ye nkwene no an ye ya magana fo ehunu sade eniema esitie Ghana fo hunu mo mama energy sector ECG aje se Ghana han.
After initial assessment of the books, we have discovered that our economic problems are much deeper than was previously known. We have inherited a country that is broken on many fronts. The profundities of the challenges confronting us are staggering. We are saddled with staggering debts and glaring signs of it. After initial assessment of the books, we have discovered that our economic problems are much deeper than was previously known. We have inherited a country that is broken on many fronts. The profundities of the challenges confronting us are staggering. We are saddled with staggering debts and glaring signs of almost deliberate and in some cases reckless mismanagement of our resources. Mr. Speaker, not even the restraints of an IMF program were enough for the previous economic managers to exercise prudence in managing our finances. After setting an inflation target of 18% by the end of 2024, the actual outturn was 23.8%, significantly higher than the threshold agreed with the IMF. The Ghana cedi continued its downward slide, losing 19% of its value against the dollar in 2024. It had already in the previous year lost 27.8% of its value. In addition to the public debt, which amounts to a staggering 721 billion cedis, several state-owned enterprises are also in debt, including the ECG, which owes 68 billion Ghana cedis. After initial assessment of the books, we have discovered that our economic problems are much deeper than was previously known. We have inherited a country that is broken on many fronts. The profundities of the challenges confronting us are staggering. We are saddled with...
Say Ghana, a public debt, 721 billion Ghana cedis. So 721 billion Ghana cedis. Omo beto 121. So what it means is say Oma added 600 billion Ghana cedis. Ena ediaka the public debt stock no. Omo beto 120 billion Ghana cedis. It is what 120 billion Ghana cedis. Edi free a reporter President Mahama Edema Yenumua. The children say 8 years in no. The Akufo-Addo Bawumia ede eka hono 600 billion Ghana cedis. 600 billion Ghana cedis. Afei ECG ekaya da ECG so 68 billion Ghana cedis. The car afeno markings aban MPP abro aban etirimodinfo aban mambofo aban afeno markings anodon pre enema she black se Ghana yesum because you are witnessing power outages maban abro etirimodinfo wudifo akromfo aban ECG a car wo mu jade to hono no 68 billion Ghana cedis. Now just even 2024 kwan PWD audit ya omo ye no senka ECG sika omo jeje the fa account mu kura no account the omo wiawia ne nche nyina anka ho ba account mu kura sika fam 15.8 billion Ghana cedis no senka ECG disas kan nyina akura tuya ya enka ebia anka kan be 60 billion but yehunu say sika ECG did ye 15.8 billion Ghana cedis no do omu tuya ye eye be 6.3 billion dia kan nyina omu awia enti na me ka kira wo se hwe senka nyankopon na aboa Ghana na ye da ya sorry 7 December na dia be chi ne kwasi ada 8 December Nana po eye vice president yame mpangu mabonsam fafira yankopɔ won mpangu ala kiaye yame mpangu ye twam ye du yesu mogya twam na po energy minister 4 years otu fun ye so betu fun pa de amount minister otu fun uyu obetu fun no de amount na po ye energy minister e ka wono ye energy minister no wa brodi egu ho no no and ECG kan no 68 billion Ghana cedis also was up vice president yedi ni akase na po kwa head economic management team say ye Jimmy enti because ye Jimmy 8 years 2017 ekopem 2024 ezino mu free say 2025 nso Jimmy for na omudi yeso no ya say Jimmy ya chese ye de so Jimmy for de bi mada enti na po Ghana beda obesori ye 8 December ne ya uko Google na uba the vice president of the Republic of Ghana is ready Yankupon the vice president Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe nation in a time 68 billion na sa ekawe no enye Ghana fo na eba betua o sika ne sha omo to e wo mo ho sika no e wo mo ho na po President Akufo-Addo nom Bawumia nom Haptel nom wo mo Dubik Mahama nom emre bia Dubik resign ye me ni MPP ni bi hia o se je se Ghana en obi bokro no a obi di o man boni a obi ye criminal ni pani MPP ni no what describe Dubik Mahama so ye criminal so that guy he's a criminal oni omo cartel ECG one womo bokro no na wa ya kwada ya sorry ye Haptel issues ba ye Mahama Dubik a resign no akwa akotena fie under his watch and omo import to container $500,000 $500,000 no a womo ema ni si ho no mo a aban no confiscate ya obi koto 100,000 Ghana cedis omo fetch koto $300,000 na obi asori aka kire Ghana ni say President Mahama ntimi njeli obia President Mahama ontimi njeli obia how said that President Mahama ntimi njeli obia mama me national service dia ne yenko ye mama agenda 111 mama answer mi wi agenda 111 matoa so now no energy minister interview ye o say IMF for proposal so come to ayi nkania bom say 53% ni ntumu ne hani pawo because me se Ghana ha last year 2024 me bill me tua many bam ho so from 250 me tua 800 one man can't just so much nkania bom 1000% 53% ni entumu ne ha ye yo but enenam kwa yisa na egu nkofo account ECG na egu nkofo account mu saa na o maboa no na ya be ka kire Ghana for say ECG de ka 68 billion eye ka da ho because akronfo cartel mama me ekaya ya burusu nyina ye nkofo ye gya nyina hospital ba ko pe 8 years ko man sibi agenda 111 President Mahama say ba ko pe na Akufo-Addo so ne last so na waka kire Ghana for agenda wa wie mu 3 ni predecessor President Mahama so obo papa no mu hia na mu siri hu waboa pani mu odi ntro wo so waboa.
The Agenda 111 program, which was started as a knee-jerk reaction during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the Ghanaian public had begun to appreciate the significant investments that the previous NDC administration had made in healthcare facilities, and began to lament the many hospital projects that had stalled under the previous administration, a promise was made to build 111 hospitals. Mr. Speaker, I'm sad to note that there is no dedicated funding source for such a gargantuan project. There is no dedicated funding source for this gargantuan project. Mr. Speaker, for the record as I speak, not a single Agenda 111 hospital is operational. In any part of Ghana, I challenge you, not one is operational. Mr. Speaker, and it is worth disclosing that $400 million has already been disbursed under the Agenda 111 project. Mr. Speaker, at a rate of approximately $80 million per hospital, this $400 million spent could have completed and made operational at least 22 of those hospitals. Mr. Speaker, the Agenda 111 program, which was started as a knee-jerk reaction during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the Ghanaian public had begun to appreciate the significant investments that the previous NDC administration had made in healthcare facilities. And began
Sika President Mahama say ya spend 401 million US dollars. Baako pekura ni hwanu mo ye adwuma na na akufa de se wa wie 3. Ba 3 na o so wa wie ya na so na okoka ye no 8 years. He said ye e won go to aba man kokrafo bia so na medi president o Ghana hanu bi mu. O mu no ho. Odi oya kokrawa no a extra time no wo after 70 years na extra time na dwe papa bia ni nitrim 8 years o after say waja wa manika 720 something billion no hospital baako pekura wansibi President Mahama say sika wa ma send wa agenda 111 no 401 million US dollars no agenda 111 baako bia ho ka 18 million US dollars enti say wo calculate here 18 million US dollars no 400 million US dollars no was sank ye 22 baako 22 e was sank ye tanki operational contractor ni wie ya na chese ye tani key nurse for doctor for patients ye kom ne akwa akoye adwuma after see spending 400 million US dollars no baako pe ha Mrs. said akokora bia medi president okrom ha bi mu kwa me ma me fa na wa kokora we bia nya 70 years a wo extra time a wo bona dwen papa bi ndime si we mu na we no ya busua pani obi wu no obedi ade a kokofuo behwe waton abusua fie no waton abusua sase wo twa tondi ono wo gye na ewu onfu obi a ho ma me last one o se national service scandal no ebi adwane dwane de wo bedwane but wo beba abe fesi yenye energy okay yenye energy wi ana atwa so national service ntina eno ana mitu NDC fo no funu sebo adom na aso hoso e na de achi a ofa ba bia congratulations
Mr. Speaker, my administration inherited an energy sector on the brink of collapse. It was weighed down by unsustainable debt. This unfortunate situation has led to many independent power producers and fuel suppliers threatening to cease their operations. Mr. Speaker, listen to this. Despite collecting over 45 billion cedis in energy sector levies, ESLA, over the last 8 years, the outgone administration has left the Ghanaian people with an energy sector burdened with a staggering debt of 70 billion. Mr. Speaker, my administration inherited an energy sector on the brink of collapse. It was weighed down by unsustainable debt. This unfortunate situation has led to many independent power producers and fuel suppliers threatening to cease their operations. Mr. Speaker, listen to this. Despite collecting over 45 billion cedis in energy sector levies, ESLA, over the last 8 years, the outgone administration has left the Ghanaian people with an energy sector burdened with a staggering debt of 70 billion cedis as of December 2024. It is of deep concern that several state-owned enterprises in the energy sector are struggling to stay afloat, and unless urgent interventions are made, many of them will go under. Financial distress in the energy sector remains a significant obstacle to delivering consistent and affordable electricity to Ghanaians, and it poses an existential threat to our economy in general. Compounding these challenges, critical maintenance activities such as the scheduled pigging of the West African gas pipeline WACO were postponed from 2024 to 2025 without sufficient contingency measures for alternative fuel supply. As a result, my administration has had to swiftly mobilize resources to secure emergency fuel supplies to ensure that electricity generation continues despite the closure of the West African gas pipeline. I have been informed that the pigging exercise will be completed in the first week of March, and once again additional gas will flow from Nigeria. We are anticipating a marked improvement in the power situation once this begins. While the current state of our energy sector poses grave concerns, we must remain resolute in our commitment to restoring stability. I've directed the Ministry
and Sana energy sector ESLA. Someone Mr. President Mahama na introduce ESLA. Energy Sector Levy Act. Annually near 3 billion Ghana cedis. Ya the best service debtor energy sector na wo hono mo. En wo jai bo for 20 wo kwai wo sisika. 8 years ni ESLA. Ya generate ya 45 billion Ghana cedis. 45 billion Ghana cedis no. Eka ono beto ye 70 billion Ghana cedis. Na wanya bibia ma wase gya abo ne koro no. Na ekufu ado. This one pass onipa ba. So wanya bibia ma wase a ye gyan ebo ne koro no. ESLA wa be 8 car watimi anya film 45 billion Ghana cedis. Wodi yanka fa bi kura anka ho ana wodi 45 billion ka gya ye bi. Eka da ho ye 70 billion because ESLA no odi akosi awowa akoji hu sika aspanda ESLA no akosi awowa ji hu sika o yes sika no so a ubisa so de ye da ya radio wada anu munu rada adwen awodwen sumo hu se ne sitie enti energy sector we ECG 68 billion na wo ba energy na nsumu nso a eno so no mo ye ka road contractors over 20 billion. Eh, na ka bebrebe nti mo be cha magana fo na etu ana se ka bebrebe ya mo busu ya burusu kwe ni ya burusu se ya burusu sen. President Mahama say national service fo na adwane ebi adwane Mustafa Yusuf onwane okọ parliament po onwane ye na bi onwane ye Ghana ha o say si be former KM mayor onwane Ghana ha ababa wa no nkwan gift wa na adwane obi anwane osiso ofa Togo ofa Benin ofa mikro malata opekro no nkofa Kuwait opekro nfa Pluto obeba ababe fesi Ghana mra
yeda wase se won ya bra kan home de ensem ni na bana wiye subscribe to channel no da wadwen kire comment section like na share jumadi no ma afoforo ensa enkami makraw yebeshia in the next video
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases PENDREAM TV.